Bitcoin is still holding somewhat steady. In this video, I'm going to share my screen, look at the charts, talk about the areas of interest, support and resistance trend lines that I'm keeping an eye on, and really talk about what's probably going to happen from here. I don't think Bitcoin's going to zero. There's no danger of that. I don't think it's going to get to all-time highs anytime soon. I think we're going to have to just play the waiting game like we have been. And so, for those of you that are new, I'm Harvinder. I've been in Bitcoin since 2015 and making these video updates since 2022. So if you're new here, subscribe, smash that like button on the way in, and let's get into it. Right, now the dangerous thing is here is, is this a dead cat bounce? I mean, a dead cat bounce, you see them time and time again. That's when the market drops, we have a bit of a bounce, and then it just drops again. And it's not immediate, like over here in the 2021 run. I'm just worried that we might have something like this. But, it took a bit of a while to play out. Like between there and there was a good, month or so. And so, yeah, that definitely is on the cards. But, we just don't know. Like, there's always... Have we already had the dead cat bounce? That's what we don't know. On my live stream last week, I drew this scary looking fractal. And, there's different ways that you can draw this. Like, you can draw this like that, which, that's realistic as well. And that's kind of scary looking because that's like 45k Bitcoin. Or we can just have it how I had it before, where we've already kind of bottomed out. And now we're just going to range around for a bit, maybe drop a little bit further before finally zooming off again. And so all of this is on the table. We really don't know what's going to happen. That's the thing. I mean, Bitcoin's done so many things that it's never done before. Like, it's never been in a 3-year uptrend like this. It's never dropped below the previous halving price like it did. It's never dropped 10 grand in a day before. I'm not too concerned about the 10 grand a day one because that's going to probably happen more and more. Like when Bitcoin's over 1 million, which it will, we're going to have these kind of days and it's going to be normal. But what I want to look at is, the warning signs were there. Like if you watch my videos from November, I was talking about, look, this probably is going to fall. And I've got a system that I use that I want to quickly go over, and it's relatively simple. It's just tracking different moving averages. And as you can see, there's a red line and a green line. And everyone talks, right? And I'm not saying I talk shit, but, no one knows what's going to happen. That's the reality. And so when it comes to this kind of stuff, I say what I think might happen. Whether it happens or not is another story. But this is the gold for me. Like, this is what I've been using for a few years. This is what I use with my private clients. And it tells you when to buy and sell. Like, if you zoom out, if you just follow this, from the beginning of Bitcoin, even more recently, even this year, like if you've been using my strategy this year compared to buying and holding, you'll be like 16-17% up. And like the power in this is that it tells you when to buy Bitcoin when it's relatively safe to buy, when the price is relatively low. And then you sell when it's kind of like burnt out, overheated. And it doesn't catch the top, and it definitely doesn't catch the bottoms, but it gets that big chunk in between. Like if you used this in the 2021 run, you would have got a nice, 500% now. And even more recent times, when, the bear market, this is when I was telling people to buy back in, when Bitcoin was around about 15, 16K. And so this works better on the Bitcoin chart, but I just wanted to show you on the total chart as well, because it works decently well there as well. And so, I want to load up a cleaner chart so I can show you guys. So people that, I've got messages that, they probably won't let me show on social media, but my clients said, a lot of them sold up here, 106K. Some of them sold over here, 92K. And they're very happy right now. And this is where, I talk about you need to have some kind of system, a trading system. You can talk all you want and you can have all the emotions you want. And like when it comes to anything in life, you can convince yourself of anything. But if you're smart, you'll consider both sides, and even all three, four sides. And so no matter what it is, if it's diets, for example, you can find a million people advocating for the vegan diet. And then you can find a million people advocating for the carnivore diet. And then you can find a million people advocating for the vegetarian diet and pescatarian and whatever it might be, even people that don't even eat breatharians. And so my point is, you can find whatever you want. You can find whatever evidence you want to support your worldview. Whether you're right or not is another thing. You've got to just wait and see, right? Like if I say, look, I think the price of Bitcoin's going to go up, we just have to wait and see. If I think the price of Bitcoin is going to go down, well, really, we just have to wait and see. You know, I can find many arguments to say it's going to go up. I can find just as many saying it's going to go down. But this is where having this system really, really helps, because it just takes the emotion out of everything. And I've got a calculator. Let me quickly bring it up. Well, I need to figure out how to show Excel in like a dark view. This is a bit too bright even for my eyes. So what this strategy shows is, like, it's all the raw data's in here, and it tells you when to be in the market, out the market, and it's like nearly 6,000 rows of data here. It's took me a long time to put together, and it's got all the prices, open, high, close, using the TradingView index chart. And so I'm going to make this look nicer, but this is a calculator. And what you essentially do is you put in, like, this is a hypothetical. So if you invested, say, $10,000 in Bitcoin at the beginning of the year, so 01/01/2026. Oh, I'm putting it in the wrong place. 01/01/2026. It tells you which strategy is better. So if you use my strategy, you'd be $300 down right now. If you just bought and hold, you'd be $1,600 down by now. And you know, you can see like, obviously no one's made money right now because the market's gone down. But you're basically, you know, you're like, well, you can see the math here. And let's go back a year, 2025. So if you used my strategy and you started investing in Bitcoin at the beginning of January, you'd be 11% up. We all know Bitcoin didn't have a great year. Yeah, it did hit all-time highs, but you know, it wasn't Bitcoin, right? But if you just held, you'd be $2,000 down. And so this is the power of the strategy. And you can put in any date you want. You can put in 2020. Like, this is the difference. Using my strategy, you'd be up over 2,400%. If you just bought and held, 900%. Now, I used to share this publicly, but I don't now. I used to share it with my private clients. But yeah, the reason why I'm talking about it is you know, you need a system, whether it's my system or someone else's system, because the truth is no one knows what's going to happen. Like, we really don't know. Yeah, if you look back at my videos, November time, I said, look, this is probably going to play out, but my target was this 74K mark. It totally smashed through that one. You can argue that no one saw it coming, but like, there probably was someone out there calling for 60K Bitcoin. And there's probably someone out there right now calling for 50K Bitcoin. And at some point, they might be right. I know people that have been bullish since here. Like, even today, like, these are respected traders. They're still talking about how we're still in the bull market. QE's coming. Things are going to start pumping. And at some point, they're going to be right. But like it's anything, right? If you keep saying the same thing over and over again, at some point you're going to be right. I remember over here, price started pumping. I was talking to another guy I know. He's a pretty good trader, and I was like, look, this is bullish, and he's like, no, it's a pump, it's a scam, it's going to come down, and he's super bearish. And I was like, bro, like, you can keep on saying you're bearish, and at some point you're going to be right. So this is at 2023, and so it took him 3 years nearly to get right, 2.5 years. So now he's right, but he was bearish down here. And look what happened to the price, at like 5x'd. And then he was right. But that's just a stupid way to live, I think. You know, you gotta be realistic. And so my point is this. There's one thing, yeah, like having some kind of conviction. You know, I think, you know, human beings are going to kill themselves. They're going to get extinct. I think the US economy is going to crash and go to zero. Bitcoin is going to go to $1 million. Yeah, who knows? But all of those scenarios might play out. Bitcoin going to $1 million, yeah, it will happen. It will take a few years to happen, and that might mean the US economy might crash in order for that to happen, or completely collapse. But it will happen, and I'll be right one day. And so, but the reality is this, like people that have been, arguing about, we're still in a bull market, we're still going to pump, they've lost a lot of money right now. And the markets will recover. But if they were smart and they just, I don't want to say pulled their head out, I don't want to say pulled their head out their own ass. But yeah, that's really what it is. If they just pulled their head out for a moment, be like, you know what, this isn't that great. Let's sell and buy back in when it's a better price, because all the signs are obvious. And yeah, here we are. But anyway, I'm just rambling on. My point is, look, just, if the evidence is there, staring you at the face, just face the reality. And if you have a system like mine, great. If you don't, that's also great. But just don't be stupid. Right, I'm going to leave it there. I'm going to see you in tomorrow's video. Thanks for watching. Subscribe if you haven't already. And if you're already listening, I'll see you tomorrow.